Everybody, coming on to talk about the final episode of Dahmer, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. And it's titled God of Forgiveness, God of Vengeance. Well, in this final episode, John Wayne Gacy makes an entrance in this episode. And I think a lot of people knows his story. If you don't, I was born after he was arrested and tried, but he was at how do I put it? Executed, unalive, in prison in 93, 94. I think. Well, from what this episode says, the same day that happened, Dahmer was baptized the same day that John Wayne Gacy was executed unalive. Well, and I think that was kind of weird how that happened. And but in the previous episode, one of the inmates found out what had happened, what Dahmer had did before he came to prison. And the inmate wasn't supposed to find out reading materials because of his psychological. He was under psychological hold in the prison. But the woman that was in the library allowed him to read the newspaper articles, and reading material that was about Dahmer anyways, when she shouldn't have allowed him to read it. So, well, I think that everybody knows how Dahmer was unalived in prison. From what led to it, that was the prisoner that found out about it, read the material. They're saying that's the prisoner that did it. So they're saying they did it after Dahmer was baptized. And all the victims' families were trying to move on after Dahmer was sentenced and everything. So And Dahmer's former neighbor found out about Dahmer's passing in a newspaper article that was on a rack when she was checking out her drug at a checkout stand. So, and before Dahmer was unalived in prison, she was talking to her pastor about forgiveness and everything. If she should forgive and everything. And her pastor said you don't really have to forgive and everything because that was all right for her to feel the way she feels. And I don't blame her for not forgiving, especially for all what he had done. I wouldn't be able to forgive somebody like that, especially for all he had done. Okay, now after Dahmer had been unalived in prison, Dahmer's biological mother had tried to have his brain analyzed at a lab, but his father was so against it that his mother took him to court. The court sided with his father and had his brain destroyed so they didn't have to deal with it. So they didn't have to deal with that horrible history anymore. But after all this time, people are people are still dealing with this horrible history, especially after John Wayne Gacy, Ed Dean, or whatever, however you want to pronounce his last names. I don't know how to say his last name. And all the horrible acts like Jack the Ripper and everything. You can't forget that horrible history. So I'm going to end the video here. Bye for now.